They will stand before you, smiling. They will look you in the eye, nod in all the right places, laugh when laughter is expected. They will raise a glass in your honor, offer words dipped in sugar. But behind the polish, behind the well-rehearsed performance, there is something else, something uneasy. Watch closely and you will see it. The envious do not always scowl, they do not always sneer. No, that would be too simple. Instead, they hide in admiration too excessive, in praise that lingers just a second too long. They say, "You deserve this." But there is a hesitation in their tone, a weight behind their words. It is not what they say that betrays them, but how they say it. Listen, not just to the words, but to the spaces between them. A man who truly celebrates you does not overdo it. His congratulations are firm, steady, unshaken. But one who harbors envy must compensate, he must overact. He must convince not just you, but himself, that he is happy for you. And in doing so, he reveals himself. The applause lasts just a second too long, the laughter a touch too bright. And when the moment has passed, when the eyes shift elsewhere, a shadow crosses his face. Subtle, fleeting, but real. And then there is the silence. Not all envy comes wrapped in words, sometimes it is the absence of them. The moment you rise, there are those who will vanish from your side. Where once there was conversation, now there is quiet. Where once there was camaraderie, now there is distance. Not open disdain, no, nothing so obvious. Just a pause, a delayed response, a forced smile when there should have been ease. They do not speak against you, but they do not celebrate you either. They do not tear you down, but they do not lift you up. Instead, they shrink, withdrawing just enough so that their absence is felt. They become ghosts of the people they once were, haunting the edges of your triumph, waiting, just waiting, for something to shift, for fortune to turn, for the balance to restore itself. And when it does, should you falter, should you stumble, you will hear their voices again. Not in outright condemnation, but in soft, measured tones. It was bound to happen, they will say. You flew too high. Maybe this is for the best. There is relief in their voices, a quiet satisfaction carefully concealed. And if you look closely, if you truly see them, you will recognize the truth. They were never on your side. The envious do not compete with you in the open. They do not challenge you to a battle of skill or will. No, they move in shadows, in whispers, in the weight of words unspoken. They wait. And in their waiting, they reveal themselves. So what is one to do? Call them out? Confront them? No, that is not the way. You simply see them for what they are and move beyond them. Let them linger in their shadows while you walk toward the light. Let them hide in their hesitation while you move forward without fear. Because in the end, the envious are not your enemies. They are simply reminders. Reminders that you have stepped into something greater, something they cannot follow. And that is not your burden to bear. They do not need to speak against you, no, that would be too obvious, too crude. Instead, they say nothing at all. That is how envy moves. Not in open attack, not in outright opposition, but in silence. A silence that lingers where there should have been words. A pause where there should have been applause. A quiet absence in moments that should have been filled with joy. You will see it if you are willing to look. You will see it when you achieve something, when you rise just a little higher than they expected you to. The people you thought would be there, the ones you assumed would stand in your corner, will hesitate. They will not openly deny you, nor will they celebrate you. They will simply step back just far enough to make you feel their distance. They will speak in neutral tones, nod at the right moments, but they will not share in your triumph. It is not anger, not resentment, just a quiet discomfort, a subtle retreat. And if you ask them, if you dare to bring it into the light, they will shake their heads and smile. Of course I'm happy for you, they will say. But happiness does not need to be defended. Joy does not need to be explained. It simply is. And yet, in their voices, you will hear something else. Not joy, not pride, an effort to convince, to conceal, to pretend. You see, the envious do not wish for your failure, not openly. They do not wish for you to fall, but they do not wish for you to rise either. They simply wish for you to stay the same, to remain within reach, to exist at a level that does not disturb their sense of self. They will not attack you, but neither will they lift you up. They will simply do nothing. And then there are the others, the ones who speak as though they are with you, as though they are on this journey beside you. They nod when you speak of your dreams. They echo your words, reflect your ambitions back at you, as though they too are reaching for something great. But they are not. They are only shadows, imitating the form, but never possessing the substance. Listen carefully. They will say, yes, I believe in that too. I have always thought that way. I want the same things. But belief without action is nothing. Thought without effort is an illusion. They do not build. They do not create. They only adopt the language of those who do. And when the time comes to act, to step forward, to risk, they remain where they are. They admire from a distance, but they do not move. They tell themselves they will begin soon, that the right moment is just ahead, that one day they too will do what you have done. But that day never comes. And so they cling to you, not as partners, not as equals, but as spectators. Falsehood is not always deception. Sometimes it is simply emptiness, the absence of substance, the illusion of movement without progress. And when you succeed, when you take the steps they have not, they will tell themselves it was luck, that the path was easier for you, that they could have done it too, if only circumstances had been different. But circumstances were never the difference. The difference was choice, action, the willingness to move while they remain still. So what do? Do you confront them? Expose them? No. You see them for what they are, and you let them be. You do not wait for their approval, nor do you slow your pace to accommodate them. You continue forward, without hesitation, without guilt, without the need for permission. Because the ones who truly walk with you, who truly believe, who truly build, will never hold back their voice when you rise. They will never hesitate in their joy, and they will never need to pretend. Words are effortless. They require no proof, no sacrifice, no substance. A man can speak of his virtues with the ease of a poet, crafting a reality that does not exist, wearing principles like borrowed robes. But watch him, truly watch him, and you will see the truth, because words can deceive, but patterns of action cannot. A liar does not lie all at once. No, that would be too simple, too crude. Instead, he builds his deception brick by brick, carefully shaping his image, choosing his words like a painter selects his colors. He will tell you he is loyal, that honesty is his nature, that integrity is the foundation upon which he stands. And yet, the moment a test arrives, the moment he is called to prove these things, something shifts. It is not always an outright betrayal, no. It is often something smaller, a hesitation, a contradiction, a promise left unfulfilled, excused with a well-crafted explanation. And if you are not paying attention, you will miss it. You will accept the excuse. You will believe the story. And that is how deception survives. Not in a single lie, but in the willingness of others to ignore the pattern. Because that is where the truth lives, not in a man's words, but in his consistency. Watch how he moves when no one is looking. Watch how he speaks of others when they are not in the room. Watch what he does when the choice is between his comfort and his integrity. He may swear by his principles, but when the moment comes to stand by them, he will falter. He will retreat. And then he will explain it away. I had no choice. You must understand the circumstances. Anyone would have done the same. And so the liar survives, not by convincing you, but by exhausting you, by weaving explanations so carefully that you would rather accept them than untangle them. But the pattern is there, always, and once you see it, you cannot unsee it. And what of the man who boasts of his kindness, his generosity, the one who tells you again and again that he is good? Be wary. The truly kind do not announce their kindness. They do not proclaim their goodness, nor do they demand recognition for their virtue. They simply are. Their actions, not their words, carry their truth. But the one who needs to remind you, who needs to be seen as honorable, as compassionate, as noble, he does not seek to be these things. He seeks only the appearance of them. Watch what he does, not what he says. Because in the end, a liar does not fail in words. He fails in patterns. In moments where the mask slips, where reality and illusion collide, where he can no longer hide behind the poetry of his own speech. So do you call him out? Do you expose him? No. There is no need. The truth reveals itself to those who are willing to see. The pattern speaks louder than any accusation ever could. And when you learn to trust it, to trust action over language, to trust proof over promise, you will never be deceived again. Listen, not to what they say when the world is watching, not to the carefully chosen words spoken in the presence of others, but to what slips from their tongues when the one they speak of is not in the room. That is where the truth lies. That is where a man's nature is revealed. The way a person speaks about others when they are absent is the way they will one day speak about you. It is only a matter of time. Watch them. The tone shifts. A friend is reduced to a flaw, a strength dismissed as mere luck, a success softened by the suggestion that it was undeserved. It is never direct. No, that would be too obvious, too crude. Instead, it is subtle, wrapped in casual remarks, masked as concern. Yes, he's done well, but of course she's talented, but you know how she is. The poison is delivered in drops, never in floods. And they do not stop. They cannot. Because to praise openly is to admit one's own shortcomings, to acknowledge that another has risen where they have remained still. And envy, when left unchecked, does not allow for that. It does not celebrate. It cannot. It must diminish. It must undermine. And what of you? What happens when you begin to rise? When you dare to step beyond the limits they have placed on themselves? You will see it. You will feel it. The envious do not rage against your success, nor do they openly oppose it. No, they wear the mask of support, the disguise of encouragement, but only within boundaries. They will cheer for you so long as you remain within reach, so long as your growth does not outpace their own. But push beyond that, step too far ahead, and you will find their enthusiasm begins to wane. Their encouragement becomes lukewarm. Their support, once so certain, so eager, grows hesitant, measured. They will not stop you, but they will not push you forward either. And if you fall, if you falter even for a moment, that is when you will hear them again, louder than before. But not to lift you up. No, they will stand among the murmurs, nodding in quiet agreement. It was bound to happen. Perhaps they were too ambitious. Maybe this is for the best, and you will understand finally what you should have known all along. They were never with you, not truly, not beyond their comfort, not beyond the moment when your success no longer served their sense of self. So what do? Do you call them out? Do you force them to admit what they will never confess? No, there is no need. You simply see. You see them for what they are, and you walk forward without them. Because the ones who truly stand with you, the ones who do not fear your success, who do not measure themselves against your progress, will never hesitate in their joy. They will never shrink in your shadow. And they will never need to mask their envy behind false praise or empty silence. And those are the only voices worth hearing. Falsehood rarely knocks at your door with an open hand. It does not challenge you in broad daylight, nor does it announce itself with rage or defiance. No, it prefers the shadows. It moves in whispers, in glances exchanged just out of sight, in the slow erosion of certainty, until doubt takes root where confidence once stood. It does not confront, it suggests. It does not accuse, it implies. And that is how it works, how it thrives. Not by standing against you in the open, but by sowing hesitation in your mind, by making you question what you once knew to be true. You have seen it before. You have felt it. A slight shift in tone, a pause before an answer, a hesitation where there should have been conviction. Someone assures you of their support, their loyalty, their belief in you, but something in their voice betrays them. A subtle, almost imperceptible reluctance. And then later you hear it, not from them directly, of course, no, never from them, but from someone else. A remark passed along, softened by the excuse that it wasn't meant to be unkind, that perhaps you misunderstood, that surely there is no ill will. But there is, because falsehood does not need to lie outright. It only needs to plant the seed of uncertainty. It only needs to suggest that perhaps things are not as they seem. And once doubt has taken hold, once a crack has formed in the foundation, it knows the rest will collapse in time. And what do? Do you chase it down? Do you confront those who whisper behind your back, demand an explanation, force them into the light? No, that is a fool's errand. A battle against shadows. True awareness does not waste itself on the effort of changing others. It does not seek to correct, to expose, to make the blind see. No, it simply moves beyond them. Because those who live in falsehood, in doubt, in envy, will remain there, no matter what you say, no matter what proof you offer, no matter how clearly you see them. They are not ready to step into the light, and so they will linger in the darkness, dragging others into their uncertainty, whispering from the corners, waiting for those who hesitate to listen. But you do not hesitate. You do not argue, nor do you explain. You do not waste breath defending yourself against those who have already decided what they will believe. You simply step forward, away from the whispers, away from the shadows, away from those who would rather remain in doubt than face the weight of truth. Because those who belong with you, those who walk the same path, will not be moved by murmurs. They will not be swayed by subtle suggestions or unspoken accusations. They will see what you see. They will know what you know. And they will not linger where the fearful and the false remain. And so you move forward, not to prove anything, not to fight against anything, but simply because there is nothing for you back there. As you stand in the face of falsehood and doubt, remember this: your power does not lie in convincing others of your truth. It does not lie in forcing recognition or demanding validation. Your power lies in your ability to walk your path undeterred, in the full awareness of who you are, what you stand for, and where you are going. When falsehood speaks, it speaks in shadows, in whispers that seek to disorient, to make you question what you already know to be real. But the truth does not require defense, because truth is not a weapon to be wielded. It is simply the light by which you see. And when you see clearly, you no longer need to convince others. The light speaks for itself. The envious, the false, and the doubters will always be around you, lurking in the corners, waiting for a moment of weakness, hoping to pull you into their world of uncertainty. They will try to make you second guess, to make you pause. But they cannot touch what is rooted in certainty, in a steady awareness of self. They cannot pull you down if you refuse to be pulled. You do not need to fight them. You do not need to expose them. Simply move forward. Step beyond them. Keep your eyes fixed on your own horizon, and those who are meant to walk with you will join you in the light. They will not be swayed by the shadows. The world is filled with noise, but only the quiet strength of your own awareness can keep you grounded. So let the falsehoods and the doubts fade away. Let the whispers fall silent, and let your actions, your truth, be the only thing that speaks.